For more on President Trump's immigration policies and how it is affecting his popularity ratings, let's turn to Joseph Williams. He's a former senior editor at the U.S. News and World Report. Joseph, great having you first. Second, look, we're going into another shutdown or possible shutdown that has ICE and DHS at the center of the political storm, right? And some of Trump's usual supporters are starting to question aggressive enforcement and other methods. What's going on in the greater theater of U.S. politics?
That's a really great question. A lot of people don't really have a definitive answer to that. Look, we know that last week, the two killings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy really galvanized opposition against these heavy-handed border tactics. I mean, remember, we got into this mess simply because Trump had heard a rumor about some investigations going on in Minneapolis that involved Somali immigrants, and he sent Border Patrol, customs agents, the whole shebang out to Minnesota to try to crack down, number one, and number two, send a message. So Republicans are starting to splinter away from this because the optics of this are really, really bad. You have ICE agents that have killed 2 American citizens. You have the Department of Homeland Security chief, the border czar, and all kinds of people saying that this was a justified shooting when video evidence clearly shows that it wasn't. And you've got Minneapolis standing up in sub-freezing temperatures, demanding ICE out of their city. Meanwhile, that's having a real drag on President Trump's popularity rating, and he got elected in part because of his standing on immigration. That's now cratered. He's underwater in practically every of the major categories involving the strengths that got him elected. So naturally, Republicans looking to preserve their majorities in both the House and the Senate are trying to split with him and send him a message saying, hey, cool it on this. Let's try to come to a reasonable compromise that doesn't get us all voted out of office.
Joseph, no easy questions today, just FYI. But you just mentioned Paul's, suggesting there's growing disapproval of ICE tactics, of Trump policy, and so on. And let's put it into context for international audiences here. We had a 5-year-old, Liam Conejo Ramos. He was detained and then released, right? But are Democrats trying to draw a clear line on how far immigration enforcement should go now?
Well, in a word, yes. They are trying to draw a clear line. The case that you mentioned about young Liam Ramos is really striking in the fact that ICE agents swept this kid off the street with his father. Some say used him as bait to get his father, sent them down to a U.S. detention center in Texas, and now a U.S. Circuit judge has issued a blistering rebuke to the administration about why this happened, how this happened, and what needs to happen going forward. I mean, it was just really tremendous. If you read the opinion, the judge quoting everything from the Bible to the U.S. Constitution, showing how wrong this was and how out of control ICE tactics are. Now, the Democrats are in kind of a tough position in that they don't control any of the votes in either chamber of Congress, and that having a disapproval merely is not enough, and that's why we're on the brink of a government shutdown, or we were anyway, until they struck a deal. Now, a lot of people are still not satisfied with this deal, mainly because it does not radically or fundamentally change ICE's behavior anyway. It mandates body cameras, it eliminates the illegality of wearing masks on the street, and is trying to curb their actions regarding warrantless searches. That means you can bust up into anybody's house without prior approval. Now, all of those things are very good, but what the deal does is basically set a 2-week window that if those things don't get worked out, then the government gets shut down and people are right back where they started. Now, the Trump administration has been sending mixed messages. On the one hand, President himself has kind of been tamping down and softening a little bit of the rhetoric. But on the other hand, he has still been saying that this is a righteous enforcement action that he is not drawing down, no matter what border czar Tom Homan says, and that the tactics and the action on the street in Minneapolis has not changed at all. So it's a big hodgepodge. The Democrats are trying to do what they can. They don't have a whole lot of cards to play, and their base wants to see them go full force and use whatever levers they can to try to get this action stopped.
Joseph Williams, thank you so much. First, for your patience. Second, for your clarity and insights. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Diego.